Welcome back, YouTube. Recently, Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, referred to the crypto market as the Wild West. And I wanted to get into some quotables by him and then give you my opinion on where I think this is going and why the SEC is seeking additional authority. One of the first quotes I have here is he said, "This asset class is filled with fraud, scams, and abuse in certain applications." He said, "We need additional congressional authorities to prevent transactions, products, platforms from falling between regulatory cracks." Another one with the Wild Wild West quote is, "We just don't have enough investor protection in crypto. Frankly, at this time, it's more like the Wild West. We have taken and will continue to take our authorities as far as they go." So I'll start by saying that crypto has had an amazing year. Bitcoin has hit all-time highs. We've had coins like Dogecoin reach 11,000% gains, which has triggered this avalanche of new coins to try and capitalize or recreate that momentum. And it's also causing a lot of issues because now everyone has the ability to technically create these coins in like little or no time. There's a lot of rug pulls going on. The entire crypto market's evaluation is now 1.6 trillion. So this is going to grab the attention of the government. I made several videos a while back when the government and some of the people from like the Federal Reserve, when they said that they were investigating like as far as like the market or people saying that it was a fraud. I knew at that point that we're going to see, I still believe that we're going to see some form of a government crypto soon, but it's because the market is expanding so rapidly. I don't necessarily have an issue with Gensler wanting more protection for the investors, as long as that's actually what it is. Because I believe what we're seeing here now is there's a lot going on in the stock market in general. This is literally what I call the rise of the retail investor. And there's more retail investors now than at any point in time in history. People aren't going to like the brokerages or turning it over to like a fund manager and saying, hey, take a percentage and invest my money. People are taking it into their own hands and they're making their own decisions. So this literally takes control from where the market goes and from pretty much pooling the country's money into certain assets like the S&P 500 or like those funds. And it's pretty much up to the discretion of the retail investors. And rightfully so, it's their money. So what does this mean in the short term? It means volatility. We've also had several short squeezes this year. The SEC, the DTCC, they're all being involved. Congress is now involved. They're writing legislation for transparency acts pertaining to short squeezes. We've seen a lot of new information come out, and as far as the government getting involved, simply because the retail investors are pouring into the market. Now, I don't believe that any of the things that we've seen this year, whether it's in the crypto market or in the stock market, are new. I believe these things have been going on for quite some time, but because of the amount of retail investors that are in the market now, and it's not just the institutions trading amongst the institutions, it's causing a lot of eyes to be in the stock market, and it's exposing a lot of things. So this is forcing them to take actions to try and prevent or protect the investor from things that were happening all along that I believe personally that they knew about. So I don't want anyone to think that this is a coincidence or that simply the government is only looking out to protect the retail investors, because what we've seen now is that they've ignored a lot of the things that's been going on in the stock market, and we're simply exposing it because of the volume that's in there. And now that the crypto market is booming and is now headed quickly toward a multi-trillion-dollar industry, they're trying to get in front of the ball. And again, I don't mind that, and I don't even mind the regulations, because personally I do believe some, because there is going to be a lot of fraud as more people, because pretty much now anyone can get in. And so we're going to see a lot of rug pulls and a lot of the coins that pretty much play off of each other. And I've mentioned that in some previous videos. So we're going to see a lot of coins that are literally started from the get-go to be a scam. I don't mind regulation. It just depends on what kind of regulation. If it's regulation to protect the investor from institutions or some form of a rug pull, which I'm really not sure you can, I guess some form of like registry or something, so that way someone can't create a coin in like their basement, have people invest in it, rug pull it, and then take off somewhere, and then you never hear from them again, and you don't even know who took your money really. So I'm all for that type of regulation. But if it's the regulation that causes restrictions into the market, as far as for the retail investor, or if it just simply benefits like institutions and hedge funds that are wanted to invest into the market, then I'm not for that. And I think that with the number of eyes that we have on the market now, we can help prevent a repeat of what we're seeing in the stock market. Now, I do believe that in some form or another, we're going to see some regulation into the crypto market, just because I know that Gensler has an attachment to the crypto market. And for those of you who don't know, he actually taught a class for several years at MIT on blockchain and technology. So I know that this isn't, for him, this isn't going to go away. And he's going to be watching these markets very carefully because he's been involved for a number of years, even prior to taking his current position. As of right now, I don't feel that this is a bad thing. Again, I mentioned this earlier this year because once Bitcoin was over 60K, and once we had coins like Dogecoin doing 11,000% profits in a market, and then we had that avalanche, I knew the government was coming. That's way too much money, way too quickly for them not to get involved. So going forward, we have to pay attention and make sure that we're involved in these processes for them creating regulations and the amount of power that Congress grants the SEC, because as long as this goes in the right way, as far as for not causing restriction to access and not making it impossible for the retail investors to create like their own coins, but some form of accountability if something were to go wrong, then I'm perfectly fine with that. And also we have to pay attention closely to taxes, because I know with the amount of volume and the money that we've seen this year, I know we've seen, I had a lot of conversations as far as pertaining to taxes. And in my opinion, I don't believe we need a special crypto tax or anything just pertaining to like the crypto market, just because it can, as of right now, it's in a growth phase. And yeah, the gains are a lot higher now than what you would see in the stock market. But that's just because I believe we haven't had our consolidation phase yet, because ultimately these are not tied to a company like stocks are. And their primary focus is going to be utility, especially the ones that survive. These are alternate currencies. They're not, tied to businesses and based off of performance and, debt ratios and acquisitions and all that kinds of things. So this is going to be simply based off of the utility and the willingness of the people to, conduct business or hold that coin. As a community, I believe this is something that we all have to pay attention to, so that this can ultimately go in our favor, because we have pretty much like a second chance at the stock market. So we have to be involved to make sure that this goes right and that this is more favorable for the retail investors and not geared toward the institutions. We have the opportunity now to make the crypto world something special for everyone. Hope you found value in this video. Please let me know in the comments what you think about the regulation coming forward. Also, please like the video, and if you have not, please subscribe to the channel. I have the link in my description for my Instagram and my Twitter, as well as some free stocks and some free Bitcoin. If you'd like to utilize that, all the links will be down there. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, and until next time.